Thank you. Buongiorno. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me today. Good morning to the brave audience members that are fighting over their Aperol hangovers to be here with us today. So kudos to you. My name is Shady Damaty. I'm a co-founder of Holonym Foundation, and I've been working on something really exciting that I can't wait to share with you today. It's called Silk. Silk is it's how we're thinking about the current hottest narrative in Web3 today, which is consumer onboarding, building consumer apps that take crypto to mainstream audiences without really shoving into their faces acronyms, seed phrases, clunky UX, and scams constantly bombarding users. And this is really difficult to do, right? If you're trying to build a really consumer-friendly wallet, you need to think carefully about the human that's behind the technology. You need to make it human-friendly. So we've built a very secure, embeddable wallet that's geared primarily for solving any sort of onboarding challenges or woes without sacrificing security and preserving UX all along the way. So thankfully, you can see this example iframe here. This is a completely white-labelable wallet. You can customize it with any type of social auth that you'll need to generate the wallet. So it's very similar to taking a social account that might already exist and in a way vampire attacking that and turning that into a wallet. And this is powered by a bunch of, I'll get into exactly what's happening under the hood and why this is really exciting and different than anything that's come before. So the thing that we see across the field in Web3, I think like a lot of you guys all have wallets, right? And I'm sure you've interacted with dApps where you didn't even know you were creating a wallet. And that's what wallets as a service really have done in the last year and a half for the Web3 industry. They've made it as easy as logging into an OpenSea account with a Google account, with a social account, etc. Now, it's really interesting seeing where the industry has come, right? If you go back to about 5 years ago and you type in sign in with Google into the Open Zeppelin forums, you'll see a post from one of the founders of, one of the founding engineers of Gnosis, where they're talking about something really cool that they invented. They're like, hey guys, what if we could sign into Ethereum, into an Ethereum wallet? What if we could sign into that with Google? What if we could authenticate and load our wallet with a Google account? And this was really cool. They were doing everything on chain. They were using a commit reveal scheme. They were putting the JWT on chain. And there was problems with that, of course. And that was the first step really towards account abstraction. That was back in 2018. Now the Open Zeppelin forum responses were very supportive, like, yeah, man, this is really cool. We'll love to see where this goes. But if you looked at the cross post on Reddit, people were dragging that through, dragging it through the comments. Why would you ever give your private key to Google? Why would you make your wallet as secure as your Google account? I don't know if anyone's ever lost a Google account before or been locked out because you weren't inactive for some time. That happens. So what's the point, right? What's the point of doing that? And so while wallets as a service really have made us kind of be ready immediately for this Web3 consumer moment that we're all anticipating, unfortunately, there's two really big problems with them. One, they're not secure. They're sacrificing security not only on behalf of external parties, they're not secure against phishing attacks, cross-site scripting, clickjacking, third-party interference like through Google, and they're not secure against the user themselves losing their account. And they're also paid. Why would you ever give a company, right, a Web2 company, a brick-and-mortar company, I mean, sure, they could be decentralized, but they're brick-and-mortar somewhere, the ability to determine whether you can access your self-custodial wallet or not? Why would you ever do that? It doesn't make any sense. So these are going to be great for like traditional Web2 type plays, but if we're going to see a really Web3 move forward, we need to look at different technology. So Silk addresses all of that. It's decentralized using something called two-party compute. Now, if you haven't heard about two-party compute before, you will start hearing about it a ton. So two-party compute, really kind of simply stated, it allows two decentralized networks that might be operating with two, say, like rotating key shares, be able to collaborate and sign messages on those key shares within a threshold network. These are both two threshold networks. So this is really cool. It means that you can have, say, one network like Bitcoin and another network like Ethereum, and then they can come together and sign a message. So that, for example, you could natively move assets on Bitcoin and then withdraw a loan on Ethereum. This is huge. And for a long time, this two-party compute, and specifically two-party ECDSA signatures, were considered impossible. They were considered something that's computationally intractable and that would never scale. But this was solved in the past year and a half by a brilliant cryptography team out of Israel. You'll be hearing a little bit about them too. They're called Para. So what's really interesting about this is if you just rewind the tape a little bit before everybody put their eggs into the account abstraction and the embeddable wallet as a service protocols and said, let's build this is how we're going to get there, and think like, wait, okay, so you're telling me I don't need to sacrifice security. You're telling me I can still have social logins, but I can keep those social logins and hold them accountable from hijacking my account. Yeah, so my slides aren't going to really help you guys out here. Let me just find a good one. So just keep up. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. This will, yeah, we raised a lot of money. Okay, so you just keep that one up. But yeah, so what's interesting here, what you can do actually, is you can now have one key share that you derive, say, from a social account. And then you can have another key share that you store in a decentralized network that will only sign transactions if you authorize it. This is what we call protected self-custody. So the user, in effect, always has control over their wallet. And even if a single, say the social account login doesn't work, say for example, the network is compromised, transactions can't be signed on behalf of the user. And this allows you to do all sorts of really cool stuff. Like you can program ZK proofs of identity into this flow so that if you ever need to, say for example, recover your $10 million wallet, say you're running, say you're Wazer, which is a crypto exchange in India, and say for example, a malicious actor has installed malware on your institutional devices that you're using for managing the funds of clients, and say that that hacker has now locked you out of your account, you're unable to access them, they've scooped your seed phrase up, maybe even compromised the whole machine and the whole wallet. Well, what you could do with Silk is you can actually put programmable conditions to prevent situations like that from ever happening. So the way that would work, you could require additional forms of authentication, everything from, say, like a YubiKey, like why weren't they using a YubiKey to begin with? You could add an additional signer, just like you would with a smart account wallet on chain. You could also have more intelligent AI risk monitoring on top of that to make sure that no weird, sketchy, large transactions are suddenly moving hundreds of millions of dollars out of the exchange's accounts. So 2PC is really powerful. And when you combine that with wallet architecture and MPC networks, what you end up with is the next evolution for this whole WAS situation that we got ourselves into. And that's wallets as a protocol, not as a service. And that's what Silk runs on. So under the hood, actually, we have, so here's Silk over here. We have one decentralized network that's one of the parties that's performing the two-party computation. That's called Mishti network. It's an actively validated service on EigenLayer. So in effect, what it's doing is Mishti is taking any personal attributes on behalf of the user, say like, human attributes like what they know, what they are, what they have. It could be passwords, security questions, it could be biometrics, and it computes something called the oblivious pseudo-random function, the OPRF. And it does this in a threshold network of nodes that are secured by Ethereum restaking. So when we really drill down to the bottom of it, how this key derivation is working, it's actually key derivation that's using collusion resistance based off of Ethereum economic security. So this is a wallet that's secured basically with Ethereum restaking. And this allows you to do a lot of really cool stuff. So you can actually put the you can put the key, any key actually in Mishti network, and it forms this KMS that you can have programmable conditions for combining the shares and re-adding them. You can have extra signers, etc. You can encrypt data to some public key and put the private key for decrypting within the network. And so this really is super interesting when it comes to thinking about identity. So if you're kind of catching on to how I'm approaching this, how we're approaching this at Holonym Foundation, we're thinking through this as, how should I say? It's not just about the key on its own, it's about the ID as well. It's about the identity attributes that come along with the human that's going to be interacting with the technology that allow us to actually achieve this sort of very intuitive, seamless user experience. And so the other product here that we have under the Foundation's umbrella is a product called Zeronym. Zeronym is a zero-knowledge identity protocol that allows us to prove client-side facts about a person and their identity, whether they have a driver's license, whether they have legal personhood, whether they're the ones who set up that account when they, say, open up their business, for example, and created the wallet. So when you combine all of these things together, you have a full stack infrastructure for onboarding. You can, developers, I wish I could show you some of the code. Developers can integrate this in under 20 minutes. It's literally just a block of code, and this includes build time. This includes, running it up on localhost, pushing it to GitHub, getting it in production. It's really easy to integrate. And you can have a completely white-labeled, customizable UX that gives your users the ability to set their own custom security policies, or you could set them for them. You can onboard users with conditions like KYC AML, and this is all done in ZK, right? So we're using decentralized networks and ZK proofs to perform client-side proving. So the user actually proves on their own device that they have certain attributes like that, an NFC passport, for example, and that they're not on a sanctions list. And you can gate that. You can gate access to your DeFi protocol. You can geofence it. And so this is how we really get Web3 out to the masses, is we need to build more human-friendly user experiences, not just consumer-friendly. We need to be thinking about the humans that are behind the technology. And yeah, I could go on for hours about this, but the last message I really want to deliver here is we are just coming out of beta. Our eigenlayer, or our AVS and eigenlayer will be launching on mainnet in about 3 weeks now. And we're rewarding early developers who integrate with points. So we have a developer points program. Every user you onboard, every unique user you onboard, developers will get all the points for that user. And it's a first come, first serve. So if somebody else onboards that user, their points still go to the original developer. And yeah, so if you want to check us out, we're holonym.id, HOLONYM.id. That's us on the internet. 0x Holonym on Twitter. My name is Shady Damaty. I'm one of the co-founders and happy to take any questions. Thank you.